Hey everybody, welcome to the round 13 preview. It is the fucking Bombers on Friday night. 7:50 at the MCG. It is a very interesting block of games that we have, obviously coming up against the Pies, the Bombers, and the Richmond Footy Club. 3 away games for us, given that they are still being played in Melbourne and at the MCG. There's that hostile territory that we seem to be going into over the course of these 3 games, and I'm excited, man. I've had the bye. The bye came at a good time, just to recharge, reset. Sometimes you just need to not have the footy on just to appreciate what has been. And, at the end of the day, we've reflected, we've breathed, we've had some really good things that have happened this year. We've had some not so good things that have happened. I think overall the sentiment is we're moving onwards and upwards, and we're positive, and we're probably as excited about this group as we ever have been since the beginning of the journey at the start of the rebuild. So that's great. But it actually means nothing on Friday night. It means nothing. 8-3 means absolutely nothing once the ball is bounced on Friday night. When we come up against this fucking football club, the Essendon Football Club, there are 2 teams, for me personally, that get me going. Collingwood is clearly one of them. And I say it every year in my previews, but I do not hate a club more than I hate the Essendon Football Club. I love to hate them. Obviously, it's all part of the entertainment, but I love to hate Essendon. I just think they're just gross. You go to games, they're fans, they cry over every little free kick that's there or not there. They're just a gross club, and that's just the way I feel about them. I really do enjoy the rivalry. They are the type of supporters in my friendship groups that get under my skin the most. And that's probably why I love to hate them the most. The banter comes in a different way from the Essendon fans. And it's probably due to the fact that we're not so different. That's actually the truth. We're not so different in how we feel about our clubs. Obviously Carlton's a little bit more, or a lot more pretty, a lot more classy. The red sash, it's just ugly. Like, look at that. Just a beautiful monogram. Anyway, I'm not going into this game fully confident, but I'm also not going into this game, and I'm not going into the second half of the season with this doom and gloom attitude that seems to be plaguing us at the moment. Wiedering's out and Harry's out, and, the tipping point of injuries. No, I don't see that at all. If you focus on what you don't have, you're going to find some things that are missing. If you focus on what you do have, you're going to find that we actually have plenty to win this game. We actually have more in this game to beat them this week than what we had last year to beat them. And I think we've got a much better team this year round. In actual fact, if we go back to last year, that was one of the best days. That was the best day of 2021. And that game in particular was exactly what going to the football's all about, and playing against, your arch rivals. And I expect the attitude towards this game to be no different to what it was last year. I thought the boys carried themselves really well in really bringing it and making it a spectacle that it was. It's a war in many ways. You think about the MCG, it's kind of like the Colosseum. We're going to watch this sport, this like 22 on 22 or 18 versus 18 on the field, gladiatorial type sport. And, against them in their 150th year anniversary, it's just all set up for an upset. It's great. I can't wait. I hope we spoil the party. Very much like what I said about Collingwood. Yes, I feel like we are the better side. The record would suggest that we are the better side. Our playing group, I feel like at our best, we're better than Essendon at their best. However, this is the beauty of sport, and more specifically, this is the beauty of the AFL and the rivalries that we have, because something else kicks in, the emotions kick in, the crowd, the energy, the electricity kicks in, and you're able to find a little bit more. And if we give Essendon the ability to sniff a win, they will absolutely take it. And I sense what we're going to have is a situation for the first time in a very long time that we are going to start getting hunted. And I think if I look back at the Collingwood game, we were hunted. as opposed to being the hunters. And I want us to hunt Essendon down. That's the mentality I want to have. We have responded relatively well out of losses this year so far. So I expect there to be a response. And of the players that we do have there, you look at the midfield where it really all starts. All the scoring change for the most part start from the midfield. And I think the majority of them are there. I would expect Matt Kennedy to come into the side, which is going to be great for us because this is going to be a bruising contest and you need as many of your bruisers as possible. So that's exciting. And, the whole Wiedering situation, it's an interesting one for us. What do you do? Do you bring in Sam Durden? Do you bring in Brody Kemp? Do you put Jack Silvani back as a defender? I don't know what the answer is. We're going to find out, on selection night. I'm not sure. I back whatever the decision is. But the beauty of what we have right now is, yes, we don't have Wiedering. However, we've had 2 weeks to plan for what we are going to have and what we are going to do and what the game plan is going to center around with our defensive mechanism. At the end of the day, if our midfield is dominant and wins the midfield battle the way in which we know that they can and limits the amount of inside 50 entries into our defensive 50 and not give Essendon enough chances to win the game, we're going to win the game. That's, in a very simplified version of how we can win this game. That's how it is. Now, that's a lot easier said than done. So I'm really keen to see how we play it. A few other bits and pieces, I think like Jack Martin, I would assume if he's fit and ready to go, he comes into the side. So Kennedy, Jack Martin, do you debut Will Hayes? Do you bring him in? Does Paddy Dow keep his spot? I sense one or two of Carroll, Motlop, and Dow. I sense there might be some shuffling. I'm not sure how it's going to play, but that would just be my guess at this stage. I felt like we had one too many small forwards last game. And so I think with Jack Martin in, one of those small forwards will come out. And then the big question is, does Paddy Dow get another game? I'm really keen to watch him play again, especially against Essendon. If you remember last year, we talk about that first 5 minutes, 5 clearances, then he got the poke in the eye. This could all be set up for a real Paddy Dow masterclass. I hope. I really have more hope for Paddy than what I ever have. It's just starting to get to that point now where it's just like, come on, Paddy. Like, you've got it in you. It's there. You just got to have the penny drop moment. So I don't know what we do with that situation, but we'll find out as the teams come out. Now, for the Bombers, we know that Stringer will probably come back in the side. Guelphy seems like he'll come back in the side. Andy McGrath tweaked his groin over the weekend in a training session, but they seem to be a little bullish on him playing. So whether he plays or not, I'm not sure. He's obviously a quality player. Probably hasn't had the year this year than, comparing it to the standards that he has for himself. He's a pretty good player. Hasn't been playing at the top of his game, but I would expect him to probably force his way in and just do whatever it takes, because it is a big game. It's a very important game for the Bombers as well, given it's their 150th birthday. And then there's the question of Harry Mackay. Now, everyone on Twitter and on the groups and on the forums are suggesting that Harry's an outside chance to play. I don't know. Is he going to play? I would be shocked if he plays, if I'm honest. But maybe it's a situation where they feel like he can just get through, be a big target and play a role and allow, some attention to come off Charlie. I don't know. I would hope that if we are going to play him, it's not going to be detrimental to his health. And if we have to wait another week, then so be it. This would be a very great win if we get this one done, given the situation that we're in. And I have faith that we're going to have quite a few of these brave wins coming up while the rest of the cavalry arrives. And so I'm not looking at what we don't have. I'm looking at what we do have. And I think what we do have in this team is enough to win this game on Friday night. Now, I don't care what the margin is. If it's 1 point, it's 1 point, even though there'll be a massive heart attack if it's a 1 point game. Just get the win. We're 4 wins away from finals, the way I look at it. I'm pretty certain, I said it all year, 12 wins get you into finals, more or less. If you miss out on finals and you win 12 games, well, you know what? You're pretty stiff. So we've got 8. We need 4 more. It starts on Friday night. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear the roar of that crowd. And I cannot wait to have that out-of-body experience when there's some Essendon supporter in the row in front of me talking shit, absolute nonsense, and then putting them in their place, respectfully, of course. And I look forward to the banter, I look forward to the exchange, and I look forward to having footy back and really launching into the second half of the season. I expect us to improve. I expect the system that we've now introduced to the group to be tweaked and improved on, and a lot more implanted into the player's subconscious than what it has been up until this point. It's only going to get better, I hope. It's only going to get more understandable, and hopefully it's only going to become better executed. So with that, combined with some of the players coming into the side, I think we're all well set up for a good second half of the year. Challenging second half of the year, but a good second half of the year nonetheless. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you going? It's fucking cold here in Melbourne. It's freezing. You'll probably hear the nasally voice that I have. Hoping to be a little bit better by the end of the week. Let me know what you're thinking about this game, and I'm actually curious, what's your take on the Essendon versus Collingwood rivalry, and who do you hate more? I sense if you've grown up, if you were born post 1991 or 2 or 3, you might hate Essendon more, and I sense before that you probably hate Collingwood more, but whatever, it doesn't matter, we hate them both. It's the rivalry, and we go from there. Have a good one, and go the Mighty Blues.